Hey, Quad Bros. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you guys are here, and I hope you guys are doing well, as always. The Enlisted Paratrooper patch is out. I've done a big stream for it, 5 hours over at twitch.tv/hequadro, and let me tell you guys, I had a blast. It was so much fun, guys. Seriously, when I normally stream Enlisted, I don't go for more than just a couple hours, and let me tell you, today, I just wanted to keep playing and playing and playing because it is so much fun playing this update. They really, really knocked it out of the park with this one. And while this patch is not as, content heavy as other patches we've seen in the past, what it lacks in amount of content, it makes up for in quality of content, because this, guys, is so polished. Okay, that's something that Enlisted has really struggled with in the past, right? Between guns loading stripper clips when they don't need to be, and, bots getting stuck all the time, all that stuff, it has lacked a lot of quality of life and polish, and this patch fixes that, right? It is so well done, so well refined. It's like a gourmet meal, guys, in video game form. I mean, mwah, it is fantastic. I love it so much. And guys, we're going to be going through each part of this and talking about it right now. So let's jump into it, starting off with the AI. So the AI saw some minor changes in this, but they're so impactful to the overall quality of life of Enlisted. AI are no longer really just 360 no-scoping people. If you're trying to flank the AI and you just, totally have the drop on them, sometimes they would just 360 no-scope you. Not anymore, guys. Not anymore. Now, the AI is much better about it. They don't just 360 no-scope you. You can get those flanks off so much more effectively. And the AI doesn't get stuck anymore either. Like, the AI used to previously just get stuck on, like, random geometry and be stuck in, like, the back of the map somewhere. Not anymore. Now, the AI is much better at getting themselves out of those, weird-ass positions, and it just works a lot better. There's less frustration when it comes to, switching between your AI. There's no more, like, you switch to an AI, and he's sitting in the back of the map at a rally point stuck in the roof, and you're like, how did you even do this, dude? Like, this is insane. Next up, guys, the Pacific campaign got some new levels. They're mostly meh. They got a plane. The Japanese got a semi-auto rifle, which is neat, and they got a tank, which is not garbage. The Americans got the M8 Scott, and most importantly, they got the M2 carbine. And if you have seen my video on my top guns in Enlisted, you know that I rank the M2 carbine very, very highly. The M2 carbine is an amazing weapon in a powerhouse campaign like Normandy, and it is now being slotted into a relatively low-power campaign of the Pacific. So I'm not a big fan of that. And when progression releases, the new progression system releases, this isn't going to be an issue, but it still feels really weird. I feel like there's probably better guns they could have theoretically done there. I don't know what. Do like an M1A1 carbine or something like that. It feels weird to do the M2 carbine because it's just such a powerhouse of a weapon that it's just going to dominate in that campaign. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be replaced here in just a little bit with new progression. So it's not the end of the world. Next up, guys, stabilizers have finally been added to Enlisted. I think the 76 Sherman came out like a year and a half ago or something like that instead of had stabilizers, and now it is just finally being added to the game. And they're awesome. They really are. Like, in War Thunder, I always was kind of annoyed by stabilizers. It felt like you either were fully stabilized or you weren't stabilized at all. It's not really like that in Enlisted. Like, the stabilizers are useful, and you can see that, like, in this clip here, I'm driving around the 76 Sherman. I'm very accurate on the move, which is great. Like, I love that about it. But at the same time, you can still see it bounces around a little bit. It's not 100% perfectly stable, which is how it should be. I mean, World War II stabilizers were not great, let's say that, right? But it really adds something to the Shermans. It gives them something that the Panzers don't have, and now we kind of have a little bit of a difference between the tanks. Like, Panzers have a lot more firepower, but stabilizers kind of give Sherman this mobility to them, which is really, really cool, and it's something I really enjoy about them. So well done to the stabilizers. I think they're a lot of fun to play with. I think that they give a lot to the Shermans, and yeah, overall, they're fantastic. So well done on that. Next up, Gold Order weapons. I'm not really too impressed by the Gold Order weapons, but I also don't really care about Gold Order weapons a lot of the time. Like, they're just not that big of a deal to me. I want to see some cool, neat guns. I know a lot of people out there really care about the Gold Order weapons, but personally, I just don't. They're just guns, and I think while they are cool and while I like to see cool ones, I'm not overly impressed by these ones. Most of these Gold Order weapons just boil down to BARs, with 2 of them quite literally being BARs, or I guess the one of them is a BAR and one of them is a, like, it was supposed to be a replacement for the BAR. So it's just, I'm glad we're getting guns that are not assault weapons. We have so many assault weapons, and we're not getting another batch of, 10 assault SMGs for the Soviets. But also at the same time, I'm like not overly impressed by these weapons just kind of feeling like BARs, which is a weapon we already have. And then you have the SVD, which is, again, just an SVT sniper. So I'm glad we're getting stuff that we haven't seen before, and we're getting non-assault weapons, but I'm also not totally impressed. These aren't very cool. I would have rather I would rather have seen like the Stinger in the Pacific or something. Moving on to the juicy stuff, right? We're getting oh so close to the juicy stuff, guys. Loadouts. Okay, loadouts are done so well. This is going to save so much time in the new progression system, and it saves time in this progression system. The UI is done fantastically. You have 3 different presets that you can set for a soldier, and it just applies it, which is great. For me, I like having some soldiers with BAR A2s. I like having some soldiers with M1919 A6s, and I can change them on the fly. If I don't have the right thing equipped and I don't have enough of them in storage, it just applies it. It offers me the chance to buy it, tells me how much it is, and I can buy it outright. It's great. I really enjoy that they have set this up in the way they have. It's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this in the new progression, where it's going to save a lot of time and be really, really awesome. It just works. It works really well. And the UI is fantastic. You can see exactly what's changing, exactly what is being removed, and everything like that. And then it has squad presets. The squad presets are also great. This is going to save me personally a lot of time, because as you guys know, I like to do a lot of videos where I showcase different squads and I goof off with different things and do challenges. So a lot of the time I'm swapping squads around all the time, and I have so many squads that get thrown into reserve and I forget about them, and they have, high tier gear on them. This lets me not have to worry about that. I can just set my default, and as soon as I'm done with my goofy video where I'm using 30 Molotovs, I just reload the squad. I go through my presets and I go back to the default, and it just works so well. So well done. And now the stars of the show, guys, the stars of this patch, Paratroopers. Oh my God. I'm going to try not to rant. I've recorded this audio like 3 times now because I keep ranting about how much I love Paratroopers. Guys, they're amazing. They're so fun to play. They add so much dynamic gameplay to Enlisted that Enlisted sorely has lacked in the past. A lot of Enlisted gameplay has boiled down to just running at the enemy with the best guns physically possible, and you don't make a whole lot of decisions, right? Maybe you decide what squad you want to spawn or something like that, or where you want to walk, but it's never that in-depth. These Paratroopers change that. Paratroopers have so many decisions wrapped up that are so interesting and fun. Are you going to drop directly on the objective? Maybe the enemy is like mounting an attack and you're going to drop onto the objective. Maybe your team has secured the objective, but there's only a couple guys left and they're getting overrun. You can paradrop directly onto that objective and get instant reinforcements. That's so cool. I love that, guys. I think that's such an interesting thing. Or the enemy's attacking quickly and you can reinforce the objective, or maybe make some all-out assault with your paratroopers. It's just so cool. It adds these dynamic options to you. And then you have the boxes that drop with you with these different presets that are well balanced, right? If you want to drop on the flank of an objective and get the recon and snipe the enemies, it's so fun to be able to do that. You can call artillery and have great view over the enemies. You can build a rally point and then lay down indirect fire with the mortars set up. You can grab machine guns and go guns blazing, assaulting onto the objective. There's just so many options that you have, right? If you need to take out a pesky tank, you can get a tank. It's fantastic. I really, really love this squad. I love how they've done this. I will admit openly that I was wrong about Paratroopers, guys. I thought Paratroopers were going to be stupid. I thought they were going to be gimmicky, and they are gimmicky, but they're so much fun to use. My biggest hate about Paratroopers right now is, number one, they're premium only until we get this event squad, and number two, I can't have more of them. I want to constantly spawn these guys because they're just that fun to use. So, God, they're amazing, guys. I can't talk more. I can't hype them up more than I already am. And I'm gonna cut myself off there because I want to talk about the things that I missed in this update. And mainly the thing that I'm missing in this update is some balance changes. I would have really liked to see some changes to weapons, maybe some buffs to accuracy, recoil across the board. There's some weapons in the game that I think could benefit from that. But mostly I'd like to see dispersion changes. They did a balance patch for MGs and dispersion, and I'd like them to follow that up with a balance patch to dispersion across the board. I think that Enlisted would be a much better game if recoil was the focus of the game as opposed to dispersion. So that's my that's it for me, guys. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Let's get a discussion going. What do you guys think about Paratroopers? What do you guys think about this patch? Pros, cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Drop it in the comments below. And remember, like and subscribe as always. It helps me out, and I do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.